Welcome back to Cakes by Charles. Today I have a Christmas treat to share with you. It's actually something that I learned from my mum at a young age. It's making Christmas crackers or a Christmas candle from a tin-shaped Christmas fruit cake, or you could use chocolate cake. And what we'll need today is there's quite a few things. There's a bit of a clutter around my workspace here, but we need our fondant, white, red, a little bit of yellow for the flame for the candle. We need some royal icing. A description of how to make that will be in below. I got red and white. Obviously the red is just a little bit of food colouring. I've pre-made some little holly leaves. You can use any kind of Christmas decoration, which I'll explain as we go. I've pre-done these, I've shown them before. It's just roll out some icing, nice and thin, green icing obviously, and then use your holly cutter to cut them out, let them dry and harden. I've got a bowl to cut a circle shape. I've got a knife. I've got a little wooden rod to use. I'll explain later. Scissors, icing sugar, ribbon for decoration, rolling pin, and one of the only odd things, which you don't have to use, but it does help. This is a little icing pizza. I don't know actually what it's typically called. I've got two shapes. I haven't decided which one I use. I've got like a triangle shape and a rounded shape, and I'll explain as we go. Also got some raspberry, some strawberry jam, a bit of water. You can use marmalade to go between the icing. You also, what is handy, you can either use a narrow jar, or what I've got is a tin foil roll, and I've just cut it to shape and we'll use that. And I've got a bit of tin foil at the top, and I'll explain as we go. So there's a lot to take in. I'll have a list below. And you'll understand as you watch along with the video. Just using a bowl as a shape, it's larger than the can or the tin or the fruit cake that I've made. I'm just using that and just cutting around as a guide. So anything round that's good, you want a little bit bigger because you want a bit of frill. So I got my nice round shape. You're going to get a little rod, could be a back of a brush, chopstick, a round chopstick, and you're just going to lightly push down. And you just roll it, and then you turn. And you don't need to go all the way in, you're probably going into maybe halfway into it, and you're just kind of turning it around and you're just rolling it thinner, just like a motion like so, and just going around. And as you do more, you'll notice that it's starting to bubble up or frill up. So you start with maybe a couple mil thick, and then you're kind of going thin to a lot thinner. And then you've got a lot more icing to give a bit of shape and frill, and then you just want to drape it over your roll, your paper roll, tinfoil roll, whatever. And you just want to drape it over there so it has a nice natural look, like it's been scrunched up, like it's a bit of cardboard or paper being scrunched up as it's been tied in like the little Christmas crackers. So hopefully you can get the idea of that. And so you want to do those in advance and you want to let them dry. I've shown this in a previous video, and I'll have a link as well to how to decorate, tips for decorating a Christmas cake. This is a little different, so I'll very quickly run through this. I've already done the almond icing. The almond icing never needs to look as pretty. Got my jam. This is just going to help it stick to the inner layer to stick to the outer layer. Jam it up. We're going to roll out the white fondant icing now because we're working on the Christmas cracker first. So let's do the white one. You could do it any colour you want. I'll just keep it nice and simple today. I'm doing the white one as our base. So we're going to roll it nice and thin. Something I actually forgot to mention is how to make the cakes. So as we're doing this, let's talk about that. The cakes are I've just used an old baked bean tin or a spaghetti tin or a tin tomato. Just used it, cleaned the paper off, and then just used that as the baking tin. Really simple, and it's a good way to use reuse, I guess, rubbish. The desired thickness, a few, I guess 3 or 4 mil thick, and we don't want it all there. Nice tin of peaches as our guide, so we can cut down the sides. We don't really want it any wider than that because I don't want to wasting the icing. This has actually left a nice little trail for me the first time from when I did the first roll. And we can kind of measure it from that as well. There we go, it's about that much. Because if you have too much excess, it ends up just sticking on the jam sticks to it, and it can actually waste a little bit of it. Try not to get too much jam on the outside. You can wipe it off, but at least you get on there, the easier it is to clean up, and the prettier it will look. Trim off any excess. This offcuts are kind of wasted because they've got sticky jam in them. So that's why I recommend getting it as close as you can to the size, so you don't waste too much of your fondant, because you don't want to do that. You want to keep the one side where you're going to keep the bottom, because that's going to flatten out with the weight of the cake, and that way it won't roll. And so if you keep that one side always down, it will be the flattest, and you keep the rest nice and round for looks. Just to get the right size, I'm just cheating a little bit, using another spare tin, and just using that to cut out, because then we have the right size. It does leave a little pattern on one side from the shape of the tin, but that's alright because the other side will be nice and flat. I'm just going to marry it up as close as possible, and that's where our little pincer comes in handy. That's going to help us I guess blur the lines and hide the join. This next step you want to do as soon as possible after getting this on, because you don't want any of the icing to start to harden, because then it'll crack and it won't look as clean and tidy. You don't have to use the pincer if you don't have one, or you could just use your finger and try and get a nice even square pattern, kind of like dumplings I guess you could try. Or you could actually use royal icing and pipe a design, or you could just do a ribbon, or there's a whole bunch of things you could do. Basically you just want to try and hide that join as much as possible, and also to give a little bit of a good look to your Christmas cracker, because you've got to have a lot of flair for Christmas. Let's get this peaches out of the way. I think I'm going to go a nice curved one, and you're just going to lightly pinch. Alright, so there we go. We've got the base of our Christmas cracker. A little bit of jam I got on there, don't tell anybody, we'll cover that up. And yeah, from here you can kind of decorate however you like, but I'd recommend doing the decorations, if they're a bit fiddly, on the main unit so they're not getting in the way. So that's what I will do. And today, my plan for today, I'm just going to take a little bit of red fondant, roll it out nice and thin and long. I'm going to cut a thin ribbon strip of icing. So I'm just using a little bit of royal icing to help my ribbon stick on. You want to be nice and reasonably even so you don't get bubbles. So I'm just doing 2 long strips on either side. The bottom you don't need to worry too much what it looks like, because it's going to be sitting on there, so it doesn't need to join up perfectly. So nice red strip down the middle. You can do any pattern you want, any kind of combination. It's really up to you. This is just something simple I thought we could do today. But there's no right or wrong answer, as long as you're having fun and it has some Christmas cheer in it. Trying to decorate it so you can see. So it's doing everything backwards. Light there, take some of my holly leaves. Yeah, a little bit more. And now, make sure it's piping alright. And then holly berries. Go. Now we can pop our, ooh, that's the soft one. We can take our little side bits. We want to use our white royal icing, so we don't want it to stain the white. We want a good helping of royal icing, so we need this to stick nice and solid. Fight against that gravity. And very gently, because we don't want to break it, we want to pop that on. If you're pushing right in the middle, if it's hardened enough, it should stick with no worries. And just push it on a few times, make sure it's going to stay. It looks like it's going to stay. It looks pretty good in the centre. Look at me, I'm getting covered in icing sugar. This black shirt was not a good idea. But no worries. We're not trying to impress anybody. Well, we are, but without baking, not with our clothes. Let's take the other one. Same deal. Try and get a good placing where you think it looks good, looks natural. And just push on the other side. To finish off, we're just going to do something nice and simple. Nice ribbon to see, kind of finish that joint off, make it look like it has been cinched. Scissors are for. It's always better to cut more ribbon and trim it later than it is to cut it too short and have to start again. Ideally leave that just to set a little bit before you do the bow. I'm doing it when it's still wet, so I'm going to be extra careful. Same again, the other side. There you have it. There is our Christmas cracker cake. Again, it's a fruit cake in this one, but you could use chocolate or any other kind of cake as long as it's firm enough to work with fondant icing.